One character. That's the difference between moving $5,000 and deleting it. No hack, no scam, a typo. Our generation grew up on undo. Control+Z, unsend, delete for everyone. But there's one place the undo button was never built, and it happens to hold your money. The blockchain. Stay with me, because in a few minutes, I'll walk you through a 30-second ritual that catches almost every address mistake with basically nothing on the line. But first, you have to understand why nobody, not the exchange, not tech support, not the smartest person you know, can hit undo for you. Here's the mechanic. Every blockchain transfer gets recorded on a shared ledger. Imagine a notebook copied across thousands of computers around the world. When you hit send, you're not asking a bank for permission. You're broadcasting a message to all of them. Move this amount from my address to that one. Once most of the network agrees and stamps your transaction into the chain, it's permanent. There's no manager, no hotline, no fraud department, and that's the point. The same design that means nobody can freeze your money also means nobody can reverse your mistake. Your bank can claw back a wire because the bank controls its ledger. Nobody controls this one. So how do people actually fat finger 5 figures? 4 ways. Way 1, typing it by hand. A blockchain address is a long string of random characters, dozens of them. Transpose 1 digit, and here's the cruel part. The transaction often doesn't bounce back with an error. A typo can still form a valid-looking address, one nobody owns, or worse, one somebody else does. Way 2, look-alike characters. The number 0 and the letter O, lowercase l and the number 1. On many screens, near twins. Way 3, the clipboard swap. Malware can quietly replace the address you copied the moment you paste it. Everything looks normal on the surface. The destination isn't. And way 4, the sneakiest, the right address on the wrong network. That's like mailing a letter with the right street address in the wrong country. Any one of these turns a routine move into money you'll never see again. No error message, no bounce back, no second chance. Let's make the stakes concrete with a clearly hypothetical example. Meet Maria. She's moving $5,000. Now assume, purely for the math, not a real statistic, a 0.5% chance, 1 in 200, that something is wrong with the address. Her expected loss on a careless send is 5,000 times 0.005. $25 per transaction, small on average. But averages hide the cliff. The worst case isn't $25. The worst case is the entire 5,000. Now the fix and the math behind it. Network fees swing a lot, so just assume a $2 fee for this example. A $20 test send tells Maria, with real money, tiny money, whether the address actually works. If it's wrong, she loses $20 instead of 5,000. That's 5,000 divided by 20, 250 times less pain. $2 to protect 5,000. That is the entire insurance policy. Here's the ritual, step by step. Step 1, confirm the network. Sending on network A to an address that only lives on network B is the classic cell phone. The sending app and the receiving app must show the exact same network name before anything moves. Step 2, copy, never type. Grab the address with copy-paste or a QR code. Human fingers are worse than you think. Step 3, verify the ends. You don't have to read every character. Check the first 6 and the last 6 against the original source. Why the ends specifically? Hold that thought. It matters, and I'll come back to it. Step 4, send a small test amount. For Maria, $20 out of 5,000, that's 0.4% of the move. Then, and this is where people get impatient, wait for full confirmation, not sent, confirmed, actually visible in the receiving wallet. Step 5, once the test lands, send the rest, ideally by reusing that same now verified address from the recent transactions list, instead of recopying from scratch. Total extra time, a few minutes. Total extra cost, a couple of bucks. One nuance, scale the test to the transfer. Moving $500, a $10 test is 2% of the move. Reasonable. Moving $50,000, a $50 test is 0.1%. Still dirt cheap insurance. The rule, small enough to lose without pain, big enough to actually arrive and confirm. Now, a question people always ask, doesn't the exchange catch this? Some run basic checks, but they can't know every valid address on every network, and once your transaction is on-chain, their responsibility ends. The check that matters is yours. Okay, back to why we check the ends. It's because of a trick called address poisoning. Hypothetically, it goes like this. A scammer watches public transactions. They're public, that's the design. They see you sent money to a friend. Then they send you a worthless dust payment from an address engineered to look almost identical to your friend's. Same first characters, same last characters, different middle. It lands in your history looking familiar. Weeks later, in a hurry, you copy from that history instead of from your friend directly, and your money routes to the scammer's middle. Checking the first and last characters against the original source breaks this trick, because the clone rarely matches everything you actually inspect. The habit takes 10 seconds. The scam it kills takes life savings. Now run Maria's full move through the ritual. Network matches, address copied, ends verified, $20 out, confirmed in the receiving wallet a few minutes later. Then the remaining $4,980, $5,000 minus the $20 test, follows the same verified path. Total at risk during testing, $20. Then there's Dave, also hypothetical, who skipped all of it. One fat-fingered character and his entire transfer sailed into an address with no owner. No refund ticket, no appeals process, just a transaction number and a very expensive lesson. If you remember one thing from this video, make it this. On a blockchain, verification isn't paranoia. It's the customer service. You're the fraud department now. The Unsend button exists. You just have to build it yourself before you press send. If this was helpful, there's more on the channel. And unlike a wrong address, it costs you nothing.